Thank you all so much for watching the previous video. So if this is the first time you are tuning in to Married with a Life, my name is Mrs. Peace Amewowo, and I'm the founder and CEO of Single with a Life and Married with a Life. So if you are single and you want to benefit from our teachings for singles, please follow our Single with a Life page. All the links are on my timeline. If you search for Peace Amewowo, you will see it, or it should be on this Facebook page. My husband also runs a ministry called Purpose Driven Men and Make It Happen. So it's two visions that he's got. If you want to join the Purpose Driven Men WhatsApp group, please feel free to contact me, and I will pass on your number to him. Okay, so today is part 3 of my series. The title, My Journey from Courtship to Life After Honeymoon. Okay, so I'm going to start from where I ended last week. Actually, last 2 weeks, I did not finish the story properly, and I jumped into the lessons. So I'm going to finish the story properly today, and then go back into the lessons. After that, I will go into how we started the courtship when we had to go and visit the family. Hopefully, there should be enough to do that, and then we would see what would happen after that. Thank you. God bless you. So last 2 weeks, I got to a point whereby I said, my husband finally said to me one day that I have been praying about us and I feel peace. So I was like, is this a proposal? Are you trying to tell me that we are starting a relationship? And he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to let you know that I've been praying, and that you too go home and pray about it, and we will see where God will take us. Because in our church, we have a policy that when you start a relationship, you have to keep the pastors informed before you even go and approach the lady and all of that. So when he said, at the right time I will do the right thing, that was what I understood by that. And he said that was the ending of 2016, and we entered 2017, and I was actually expecting that 2017 is the time for my marriage. He's going to finally say, Peace, let's start a relationship officially, and let's plan for our wedding. And then 2017 came, and it came with its own challenges. Personally, at that time, I had because I went to Ghana 2016, May, to host our event, the singles event. So when I came back, I lost my job. I shared that story in one of the videos. I lost my job. So from that time up to the middle of 2017, I was not working. I was still looking for a job. And around the same time, I took on a new course, a distance learning course that I was doing. It was a CBT, Cognitive Behavior Therapy. So I was doing that, and then the job search, getting a job was my priority, because I had already come to see some patterns in my family, and I was not ready to enter my marriage without working. So that was at the back of my mind, and my priority was to find a job. Unfortunately for me, in the middle of the year, before the middle of the year, I don't know whether I should call it unfortunate or fortunate, because I feel like God had to do that to get me out of where I was. My room got burnt. There was a fire outbreak in my room, and then I had to move out. I had to move out of the place. I lost almost all my stuff. Most of my things got burnt. It was just God that me, myself, did not get burnt, because the plan of the enemy was to kill me in that fire. But God had a divine escape. There was just a divine escape. How I was not in that room at that time. It was just a miracle. And the things, some of my things, my laptop, which had all my videos for Swell, my vision, everything, was actually, it would have been on the bed at the time that the fire started, but for some reason, I did a babysitting for one of my ladies, one of my friends that day. And so for some reason, or when I was leaving the place, I said to her, you know what, I'm going to leave my laptop here because I was going to get some fruit on the way and I thought it would be too much to carry it with my laptop. So I said to her, I'm going to leave my laptop here and then come back next week to take it. That was how I saved my videos. God saved all my videos and my vision, the things I've written down, God saved, because the laptop would have, where the fire started from is normally where the laptop would have been. So God saved me. Anyway, so I had to go into a temporary accommodation. And I was there for a while. And of course, when things are rough, the last thing on your mind is even marriage, you know. So he was my husband, you know, my friend those days. He was very, very supportive. He was there throughout, praying, encouraging me and all of that. And I was still, whilst I was at the temporary accommodation, I was still looking for a job. And then God opened the door after being at home for almost 14 months, more than a year. God opened the door and I got a job. So I started working, and you know, one of the priority on my mind also was for me to host another event in Ghana. The Effective Singles Conference 2017. So immediately I started working, I started planning for the event. Even though I didn't have the money, I just started planning for the event and trusting God that, you know, He will make provision and all of that. And so at this time, I started working July 2017, middle of the year already. So I didn't even push. Once in a while we talked, and you know, it wouldn't be reasonable for you to even push the idea of marriage, because all around me things were not very settled. And then at the same time, he was also making important decisions which he has shared with me, and he had to start a new business investment, which, you know, it was just he had to do it by faith. And then he was relocating as well. So, you know, in the midst of all of that, 2017 was just not the right time to even think of marriage or anything of that sort. And I already knew from my conversations with him that he's the kind of person that he wanted, when he makes up his mind that this is what I want to do. And he didn't want a long kind of courtship. So I knew that, you know, with all that was happening, it just wasn't the right time. Anyway, so I planned for the event, went to Ghana. Before I went to Ghana, we had a conversation. I said to him, the year is ending. Things have picked up by the grace of God. At that time, before I left to Ghana, because the event was in December. So before I went, he had relocated, got a new place that he was living. And we had a discussion. I said, I'm going to Ghana. I'm going to meet a lot of guys, you know, and it's true. Some of the guys that were coming to the event that I was aware, some of them were showing interest in me and all of that. I said to him, this is the situation, going to Ghana. You have to make up your mind, decide if you feel peace and you really think that it is right for us to start a relationship. Do the right thing, because when I come back from Ghana, or as I'm going to Ghana, if anybody should show interest in me and I feel like I like the person, I'm going to go ahead, you know. Anyway, so he didn't say much, you know. He knew what he was doing. He didn't say much. Anyway, so I went to Ghana. Whilst in Ghana, he was keeping in touch. He was very helpful. There were times that he did so many things to help me whilst I was still in Ghana. So even the idea of jumping into somebody's house it did not even occur, because he was still, I felt like he was there in Ghana with me. Anyway, so I came back to the UK 2018. Before I came back to the UK, I went to Ghana for two reasons. My sister was getting married in January 2018, and then I was having the event ending of, so that was 28th and 29th of December 2017. So before the wedding, my sister's wedding, I organized a few of my pastors, the pastor that I knew, my friends, Pastor Charles. If you've been following Swell a lot, you know Pastor Charles because he's normally one of our guest speakers. So I spoke to him, and he organized his guys. They came to our family home. I said to them, I want us to pray for my sister's wedding. The wedding was the next day. I said, okay, can we pray for the wedding? So we prayed for the wedding, and then after the prayer time, there was a word that came that wasn't going to be the only wedding for my family for that year, because now we're in 2018. And the guy said that my wedding will also be in 2018. So I got that prophecy. I held on to it. I prayed into it. Well, I didn't pray too much into it. I just thank God for it. I thank God for the prophecy. I believed it. Anyway, so during the wedding, I was the the only bridesmaid, actually, the maid of honor. I was the only one. And I was very happy. If you know me, you know that my smiles are always on. Even when I'm crying, I'm smiling. So I was very, bubbly, very happy. My sister's wedding, I know how she's prayed and pushed. And so I was very happy for her. I was doing my duties nicely. And then after the wedding, we went to her father-in-law's house. The father-in-law is a pastor. And then he said, I was watching you throughout, the way you were so happy, carrying out your duties, wow. And he said, a year by this time, you also be married. Okay, so he also gave a prophecy. And I thought, okay, this is a confirmation. So I came back to the UK knowing very well that 2018, definitely I'm going to get married, definitely. Anyway, so I came, let me cut a long story short. Early March 2018, I was at home and I had a call. I had a call from my pastor. And I was like, oh, pastor's call. Okay, so I picked the phone and he was like, Sister Peace, how are you? I said, I'm fine, thank you. And he said, okay, so Brother Adam has come to see us for permission to start a relationship with you. I said, ah! I was jumping on the phone. I was happy. I wasn't shocked because I kind of expected that it was coming. Okay, so I was very happy, and he too, the pastor, wasn't too shocked because we've had a few conversations about that before. So he knew that there was something like that pending, and we were both happy. He said, oh, finally. I said, yeah, pastor. And then, so basically, we were now given the permission. So he had to come and see me. And then if I say yes, then the church will take us through their protocols and all of that. So we did that. We followed the church's protocol. And one of the things that the church ensures that both parties do is to make sure that both families are happy. They are aware that this is going on. So we both spoke to the family. I spoke to my family. Some those who are in the UK, those in Ghana. And then he also went to see his family, spoke to them. All his family, the immediate family are here, in the UK anyway. So he went to see them, spoke to them. And then we went through the protocol of the church, and then we were introduced to the church. So basically they brought us in front of the church to say that Sister Peace and Brother Adam have started a relationship. And so if you see them together anywhere, you know why they are together. and then they prayed for us. So basically, it now became official. Now, that introduction confirmed what I saw in the dream, as I explained in episode 1. Okay, so thank God for that. That is where, everything, the courtship literally officially started. And the amazing thing is, most people were not surprised when we were introduced. In fact, they were like, we've been waiting for this 15 years ago, even though it wasn't up to 15 years. Some people were saying, oh, I saw it coming. I dreamt about it. I did this, I did that. There was a lady who came to me and she said, Sister Peace, I always thought you guys were in a relationship. She was new in the church, and she said that the first time she entered the church, because we were both in the choir, she saw us, and for some reason she thought we were couples. She thought we were couples. So for her to see that we're now being introduced to the church, she was like, all this while I thought you guys were a couple. I said, no. So it wasn't a surprise to many people. We were even shocked. Some of the things that people were telling us, we're saying, wow. Anyway, so that was where the friendship, how many years friendship, finally came to an end, and we had to start courtship. Okay, so before I go into the courtship, I want us to go through some lessons that I learned, because as I explained earlier on in my previous video, the purpose of this story is to, encourage someone, is to help someone with the lessons I've learned, because of course 10 years friendship, it's not 10 days. It's not easy, okay? There were so many things that happened along the way that, I could have given up, or he could have given up. But then I see the whole 10 years as God's divine purpose unfolding in my life. I don't care what the devil thinks he did, okay? The devil could think, oh, I delayed them. I did this, I did that. And of course, I'll come to a point whereby, you see that there was all sorts of attacks on the friendship and all of that. I had to pray even when we got married, or before we got married, there was a big attack. Okay, so the devil has always been there, but then I don't care what he thought he did or he didn't do, because I can see the hand of God, unfolding in all of this, and God is taking the glory for the number of years that has been spent in this relationship. It has not been in vain, because it has made life very, very easy for us, even now in the marriage. It has made things very easy. And I thank God for every lesson that I've learned along the way. So the first lesson that I mentioned that I learned is that we must take our dreams seriously. I'm not going to go into too much details on the ones that I've already touched on. If you follow the videos, the previous ones, you will understand, okay? So take your dream seriously. Any dream you have, pray into it. If it's a negative dream, cancel it. If you have to fast and pray, aggressively reject it. If it is a good dream, pray into it and accept it for it to happen. And then I also mentioned that, being a lady does not mean that you have to go to places late, whereby, you walk in and everybody's looking at you, and then you do your catwalk and you think, oh, it shows that I'm a lady. Actually, it shows that you are indisciplined, okay? Because as a lady or as a gentleman, you've got to be time conscious. You've got to go to places early, and programs, plan your time and go early. If it's church, plan and go early. Especially if you are Swalian, if you're a member of Single with a Life, you know that one of the key things in the SWAL vision is time management, okay? Being time conscious so that you can make the most of the time, right? And then, what else? I said that if you're a man and you start a friendship with a lady, make your intentions known from day one. If you are interested in the lady and you want to start a relationship, let the person know the purpose of this, my calling and my showing care and attention is because I want to start a relationship with you, or I want to marry you. And of course, I'm not saying that do it immediately. Of course, when you start talking to somebody 1 month, you don't just start, If you've spoken for 6 months, getting to a year, the person should know why you are always calling, why you are always there. So the lady, it is your responsibility, your duty to find out the purpose of the friendship. Okay, 1 year, 2 years, you are still talking, calling every day. You go to the shopping mall, you visit him. Why? What is the purpose of the friendship? Why is he calling you every day? Why is he showing you so much care and attention? For what? Find out. Okay, don't assume that because he's doing all of that, he's interested, because he may not be interested. It could be that he's just being nice. And there are some guys who are like that. They are just nice, they are just helpful, but he may not have any emotional, feelings for you in that way that he wants to marry you. So if you don't ask, you'll be doing all this talking, and then by the time you realize it's 4 years and there's nothing, it's 6 years and there's nothing, and then you are growing. No, ask questions. Ask questions. Okay. Then I also said, do not give yourself a deadline to when you want to marry, because if you do that, you are limiting God and you are putting pressure on you, because maybe God wants you to get married at the age of 25. You have said that you want to get married at the age of 29, and then you are limiting what God wants to do in your life. Meanwhile, maybe God wants you to get married at the age of 30, and then you said by the age of 24 you want to get married. In 24 you didn't get married. 26 you didn't get married, and you are there, putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. Don't do it, because it will make you to become desperate, and when you are desperate, you will mess things up and it will delay your marriage. Okay, and if you should push and by force you get married, you may get married to the wrong person and you put yourself in a bigger problem. Okay, so that's a word for someone there. I think that's where I ended up. Yeah, so if you want to buy your wedding dress, because you are so much eager to get married before you even meet a man, buy it out of faith, not out of desperation. Okay, but I'll even advise you, don't buy it. Wait until you meet a guy, you said you are sure of your date and all of that, so that you can get a more modernized, wedding dress and all of that. Okay, and then I also shared in the episode 6 that I met a guy whom at that point I was so much interested in moving on, because I was tired of this friendship with Adam, and so I decided to give another person a chance. And unfortunately or fortunately, I lost my peace in attempt to make a decision. I couldn't sleep. Okay, and then it came to a point whereby I had to just give up on that friendship. I didn't say I did not accept to marry the person. So the key thing there is peace. One of the ways that you will know if the person is for you, is your husband or your wife, is when you can feel peace about the whole thing. Peace. And I keep saying, sometimes people ask me on the WhatsApp group, how would you know? How would you know? And I say, you will just know. And it sounds like, what do you mean by you will just know? I don't know how to explain it, because it's an inner witness. You will know when you meet a person. You will know there is this kind of peace that you feel about a person that you will just know. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a better way to explain it next time. But This is how you will know that this is the person, because of the peace. So be conscious about that peace. If you are not feeling peace, if you can't sleep, if you are being frustrated, you are stressed or discomfort, you are not comfortable, that is a sign that you don't have to enter into the relationship or to say yes to marriage. Okay, the Holy Spirit is always speaking, and it's important that we listen. Okay, so prayer is key. You've got to pray. You've got to pray. If there is any proposal, if there's anybody around you who is showing interest, pray about it, because maybe physically the way the person is looking, you may not like the person, but the person might be your husband. She might be your wife. You will only know once you pray about it and you allow the Holy Spirit to direct you. Okay. Some people have lost their new husbands, their new wives, because they looked at the outside appearance. It is not always the case. Okay, they may come in a package that it's not very, but they could be the one. Okay, and peace. Once you feel peace about the person, go ahead and marry them. Yeah. Okay, so which one again? Okay, so I've also put here that if all that you want in your life as a single man or as a single woman is marriage, it is a sign that you are not ready for marriage. From January to December, there is only one prayer point to God. God, give me a wife. God, give me a husband. When there are so many things you can do. You are not thinking about job. You are not thinking about work. You are not thinking about your vision. You are not thinking about your future. All you want is marriage. It's a sign that you are desperate. You are not ready for marriage. Okay. There are so many things that as a single person you have to think about. Think about having a relationship with God. You need it. You need it, because marriage is one thing that the devil hates so much. He will do everything. He will use even people to destroy your marriage if you allow him. But if you don't know how to pray, if you don't have a personal relationship with God, you don't know how to apply the word, you will fall a victim. Okay, so it's good that you develop your relationship with God, build a godly social life, have some friends that you can mingle with, because your life is not just your marriage. Your marriage is part of your life. Your husband is part of your life. He's not everything. Your wife is not everything. So if you don't have other people around who you can mingle with, then you become a burden, because every day, even if he goes out or she goes out, you are in a hurry for her or him to come back home because you are lonely. Yeah, so have some godly friends, and the word is godly friends, because it's not everybody that you need in your marriage. Okay, so build good friendships now that you are single. Build your character so that it will help you to fit wherever you go. Pursue education. If you are studying, focus on the studies. If you are in university, focus on achieving a good degree. Okay, put marriage aside. Think about your education first. Finish the project you have started. Finish it. Don't say that, I'm going to get married now, and then I'll come back and finish my degree. What about if, especially those of you in Africa, one of the things that they do is immediately you get married, they're expecting that you have a child. They're expecting that same month you get pregnant, and then 9 months later, baby must come. So what would you do if you put education aside and then you get pregnant immediately? What will happen to the education? It means that you have to wait for another 2 years or 3 years before you come back. And some people are not able to come back because you don't know, the person you are getting married to, things can change in the marriage. Things can change and you may not be able to come back. So finish this education, work, have some working experience, so that even when you get pregnant, maternity, they'll pay you for maternity, yeah, and then when the child grows up a little bit, you can come back to work. But if you've never worked, you don't have any experience, working experience anywhere, you now have going to start all over. It will be too difficult. So please, singles, yeah, I hope you've heard me. And then, yeah, build a career, build your finances. You need money. You need money. I don't know how. I wish I can just take a microphone and start, you need money, 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 money. Your wedding, you need money. When you settle down at home, you need money. Future, you need money. If you want to have children, you need money to educate them, to bring them up. This is the time you start saving, not when you get married. This is the time. And of course, discover your purpose and pursue it in your singleness, because that will go a long way to determine who you allow around you, who you marry, who you don't marry. Because it's not everybody that can help you in your purpose, and you need somebody that can help you. And the purpose, the reason why we marry is for purpose, not just to come and sleep, eat, drink, have sex, have children, grow old and die. No, there's a purpose for marriage, and you need to discover your purpose before you get married. Yeah. Maria Masakwe, nice to see you on board. Welcome. Another lesson that I've learned. If you are a man and you have a female friend that you are trying to get to know, you like her, but all that she's talking about is marriage, 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 try and refocus her mind to the future. Okay, try and refocus her mind to the future. Do not let the lady think that you are the one going to take care of her. Okay, don't give her that impression. One of my coordinators, our coordinators, sent me a message, I think early last year, and about this same question. He wanted to know, if I'm in a relationship, can I give the lady money and all of that? And I said, okay, is the lady not working? He said, oh, she's not working. I said, okay, if you want to give her money, it shouldn't be every day. Because once you start giving her money every day, she's going to depend on you. So instead of her going out there to find a job to do, she's thinking, David will give me money. Yeah. So don't encourage the lady to be lazy. Don't encourage her. Single with a life, married with a life. You don't want to marry somebody who is just at home doing nothing. If she's at home, why is she at home? Can she still make some money whilst at home? Yeah. Maybe she's got a business that she can run at home. That will still bring money, because you don't necessarily have to go out there to make money. You can still do a little business here and there to get money in. Yeah. Don't encourage the lady to be putting pressure on you when she's never worked, she doesn't have any experience. All she wants is marriage. No. Don't encourage her. Yeah. She has to find a legal way to also bring money in and help you build a great family in future. And you also have to encourage her to know and discover her skills and talent. Yeah. You don't want a situation whereby you are a billionaire. Okay. Very well-known billionaire. And your wife, maybe you've been doing public speaking all everywhere. You go to places with your wife. She can't even hold a microphone and say hello to people because she doesn't have confidence. She will be like, she'll be hiding behind you, always looking down. Looking down is not a sign of respect. Okay. Well, in the Western world, it's a sign that you are not confident. You're not confident. So, educate the person, help the person, the lady or the man, especially the ladies. So you, the guy, help her to discover herself, to discover her talent and work on her skills so that she can have something to help you at home. Because there are times that one person's income is not going to be enough to run the home. Yeah, so encourage her. Somebody have a question? David? Okay. If you are desperate for education. Okay, so David, I know why you are saying this. David is one of our coordinators. Okay. So if you are desperate to further your education, that's a good desperation. Okay, it's a good desperation. But there's no support from anywhere and you've prayed for so long but still no improvement. What should you do? Keep praying. Keep praying. Keep praying. And also, one of the things to do is online studies, because education is not always sitting in the classroom and somebody's teaching you. Okay, it's one of the ways, and it's the normal way, the formal way we do it. But then you can, the area that you want to study, there are information on it online. If you go on YouTube, if you go on Google, you'll find information. So at the moment whereby you are waiting for God to bring you a helper, keep praying and keep educating yourself. Go online, spend maybe every day, tell yourself, I'm going to spend 2 hours to just read about this topic, read about this area that I want to go into. Every information is online. Okay? And then also find a job. Find a job. Don't just sit at home. Find a job that you can do that will help you to start saving towards the education. Yeah. Go to your church. Go to your pastor. Explain to your pastor, Pastor, this is what I want to do. I really need help. Are there any members here who can help me? There are some churches that members will support. They will give money to support. Or if you know companies, these big companies, walk there, pray, fast and pray. Go there, ask for God to show you favor. When you go, say you want to see the boss or the manager, some of them will not listen to you, but keep trying. You never know. You never know. You go, say this is, I want to do this, but I don't have money. Can somebody help me? Or is there any job here that I can do, even if it's part-time? Yeah. Or find something else, learn an apprenticeship, a vocation. That one too will require money. There are some people, especially in Africa, I know that if you want to, some of the skilled work like carpentry, what else? And I know in this our day, people will say, I don't want to be a carpenter, but I know somebody who is a carpenter at VRA and the amount of money he's getting in Ghana, So go somewhere that if you're a lady, if you want to do hairdressing, you want to learn how to sew, find a shop that you can just go, just tell the person, can I just come and help you here once in a while? If you can teach me how to do this. They don't necessarily have to pay you. Okay, so in the meantime, you have to find a way to become useful. Yeah, David, I don't know if I've answered your question, but we are still praying and I believe that there will be a miracle. Okay, God bless you. Right, where was I? Don't encourage the lady to be lazy. Okay, I don't encourage her every day coming to you for money. No, I'm not your father. I'm not your mother. Yeah. Until you are married to the lady, you are not her responsibility. You are not. So don't be obligated to be giving her money every day. Encourage her to find a job to do. If not, you'll marry a lazy woman who will just be at home and depending on you. And then if, God forbid, you lose your job, the two of you are home and you eat nothing. Okay, so the other one is be mindful of timing. Timing. Be mindful of timing. Especially like the examples that I gave about me losing my job, my room getting burnt, Adam had to relocate. He had to start a business investment and a lot of money involved and all of that. You have to look at all of that and see if the timing is right. Okay, the fact that you've met the person, you have you are happy, you have peace about it, and you want to marry, does not mean that you should just stand up and go and marry. You have to be mindful of the timing. Pray about it. God, is this the right timing? Sometimes nothing may be happening, nothing negative, or there may not be any challenges around, but you can feel in your spirit that this is not the right time. Take your time. Okay, take your time. And the Holy Spirit will direct you to know. Because the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it said there is time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Yeah. If you go ahead of God, you may miss the blessings of the Lord. And if you go behind in terms of, not being, sometimes maybe God wants you to do the thing now and you are delaying it, you could also miss what God has for you at that time. So being in tune and knowing when the right time it is for you to get married. And then be mindful of voices. Sometimes people will try and discourage you to move on and all of that. I've had people who have said all kinds of things. Maybe he's not interested. Move on. And I had my own journey. I knew what I know more than anybody else. I had to just focus on what I know and pray. The only time I personally wanted to move on was when I have come to that place whereby I knew that I have to make that decision. But it shouldn't be because somebody is pushing you to make that decision. You have to decide. You have to decide so that you'll be at peace when you finally make the decision. And then whilst you are friends, do not tolerate any attitude or behavior that you are not happy with. If you are in a friendship or relationship with anybody and you know this relationship is going to end in marriage one day, don't tolerate any nonsense. Don't say that, let me just behave myself. If he's saying something I don't like, if she's saying something I don't like, I still have to keep quiet because I want him or her to marry me and all of that. No, you have to address issues. There was a time somebody was saying to me, Peace, don't complain. If he does something, don't complain. Just keep quiet. When he marries you, you can address it. I said, no, that's not me. I don't believe in that. Because if the person does not change whilst you are in a relationship, they will not change when they marry you. So address it. Do not pretend. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. There are so many people who they will get married to a lady who is always dressing up. The lady is very classy. They like to do their makeup. They like to look good. And then they marry the person and they want to change the person to become some rag woman. They no longer want the person to dress up. They don't want the person to do their makeup. And the question is, why did you marry the person? If you saw that in the relationship, you didn't correct it. Now you are married, you want to correct it. How do you think it's going to work? Okay, so correct things whilst in the relationship and don't wait until the marriage. Okay, so those are some of the lessons I've learned so far. I'm now going to go into the courtship, the start of the courtship. Courtship, right. So the first thing we did when we were introduced to the church was to speak to our friends. So actually, even before we were introduced to the church, there were some people that we told about. We told them that, we are starting a relationship and we are going to be introduced to the church, because we didn't want them to hear it from the church like that. And it's because of the kind of relationship we had with them. So after we were introduced, most of our friends were in the church anyway. So the friends that we had who were outside of the church, we had to literally tell them, so we've started a relationship. Adam and I have now started a relationship. And I had already met most of his friends outside the church. And the reason is because whilst we were in a friendship, I took the opportunity to be organizing his birthday. So anytime he was having like his 25th birthday, for instance, I organized it. So I got some of his friends' numbers with his permission, and then I contacted them. So we met the 25th birthday, his 30th birthday. I organized it as well. So it made me to know most of his close friends. So some of them, even before I told them, he had already told them. So it wasn't really too much of a surprise. People were already expecting that, you know, these two people, there's something going on. So when we said we are now dating, it's like, finally, officially. Some people said, you guys have been dating for years. Anyway, so we got to know, we told our friends. I told some of my close friends from Ghana and all of that, those who need to know, because it's not everybody that needs to know. And then it was now time to go and see the families. So I spoke to my family, first of all, over the phone, because most of them are in Ghana. So I spoke to them over the phone. And then I had to wait for a time, the right time to go and see my family, because I live on my own. And he had already gone to see his parents to tell them about the relationship and all of that. So it was now for me to take him to my family, and then for him to also take me to his family. And, you know, it's one of the things that can be you can be very, very anxious and nervous. You don't know what to expect and all of that. And most of the time, you don't know whether you're going to be accepted, whether you are going to be able to gel with them, and if they will love you, you know. So all kinds of questions on my mind. And one of the things we did was we educated each other about our family. So I told him more about my family, my experience with my family, who is who in the family, okay. And then he also told me about his family. Okay, so if there is anybody in the family that you know that does not necessarily like you, they don't really like you, or they are not very happy for you when you are progressing and that kind of thing, tell him or her. Don't keep it at a secret, because the thing is the two of you. If you do that, it helps both of you to be careful. It helps the lady to be careful how to relate, and it helps the man to be careful how to relate, so that you don't go and step on toes and put yourself into more trouble. Okay, once you are coming together, you are now going to the person that hated you is going to be the same, is going to be an enemy to him, and vice versa. So you've got to both be aware of the family, because we all have families. We know those who love us and those who don't love us. We all know. Okay, so don't pretend about it, and don't think that if you tell him, he's going to use against you, or she's going to use against you, and all of that. Just be honest. Personally, I was honest about the things that I knew were there that he needs to know, and then he also told me what I need to know. Okay, so that will help you to know how to behave, what to say and what not to say. I got to know how his family are, the expectations of him, and the expectations of me because of my relationship with him. Yeah. And then find out, you know, when he told his family about me, what were the questions they asked him about me? Because definitely when you call your parent, or when you go and see your parent and say, I found this lady, or I've met this gentleman who wants to marry me, they will ask you, okay, where is she from? What does she do? Which church does she belong to? All those things they will want to know. And it's fair, okay, that they know. So find out what were some of the questions that they asked. Okay, so I found out. And then I also asked him, what answers did you give? Okay, and this is because I wanted to make sure that if I go there and they ask me the same questions, I'm answering the way he answered. Okay, so that we have one voice. It's not that your boyfriend, your fiancé is saying you attend this church, and then you go and you say you are attending another church. It's like, who is the liar here? Is it him or you? Okay, so it's very important that from day one you have one voice. It's very, very important because it will make the family to respect you. Okay, so have one voice. Yep, and then try and discuss possible questions that you think your family may ask him or her. Okay, so if you think they will ask him, how much money do you have? Some families will do. Some will ask, are you a virgin? How many relationships have you been in? To those of you who have been in 1,000 relationships now, it's like, how do you answer that? Anyway, so don't mind me. Don't mind me. I like to play sometimes. Okay. So, yeah, find out what questions do you think your parents will ask me. You know, I knew that my parents, I knew they were going to ask, so why do you want to marry her? Or what is your vision? Yeah, I knew that. And it was one of the questions they asked anyway. So find out what questions you think they would ask and what answers you think will be appropriate to give. In as much as he has to be himself, but there are certain things that is for you and him, not for the family. So he has to be able to, or he or she has to be able to answer them appropriately in a way that, you know, you are saying it, but then you are not revealing too much. Yeah, you are not revealing too much. Because there are some things that are personal that is just for the two of you. So agree on how you want him to answer those questions and how you want her to answer those questions, so that again you have one voice. And then when you are going, in terms of what to wear, let him or her educate you about what to wear. Don't just say that, well, I want to wear my suit. So, you know, find out how, because there are some families, when you wear a suit, there's a way they regard you. When you wear trousers or jeans, there's a way they regard you. So you don't want to give a negative representation about yourself. So find out from him or her, how do you want me to dress on the day? Do you want me to just wear skirt, or do you want me to wear trouser? Do you want me to wear long dress or a maxi dress? He knows his family better than you do. She knows her family better than you do. So allow her to educate you. Yeah. And if she says, please wear a simple shirt, wear a simple shirt. If she says, be in suit, be in suit. Don't make things complicated, because she knows her family more than you. With us, I asked him to be in a jeans and a white shirt. There's this white shirt. Anytime he wears it, I like it. I like it on him. So I said, okay, can you wear that, your white shirt and blue jeans? And he said, okay. So he wore it. When we were going to his, I told him I had two tops that I wanted to wear, and then two different trousers. And I said, okay, which one do I go for? So he said, okay, go for this one. So he chose what I should wear. He chose it. I think even my shoes, he chose it as well. So, yeah, you want to avoid problems. So allow the person to give you an idea about what the family might like and respect. And then, what else? Now, when you go, don't forget that the family don't know you. They only know what he has told them or what she has told them. Yeah. When they meet you, that is when they are going to confirm what they have heard. Some families will do their own background checks before you even come there. They will try and find out from your friends or people who know you who is she, how is the family, and they will tell them whatever they want to say. But it doesn't matter what anybody says about you or what they say about your family. The most important thing is what you say about yourself when you go. Okay, so that is why, first of all, the two of you have to have one voice, knowing what you want the families to know and what they shouldn't know. Okay, not from you too. If they should know something, it should be because somebody told them and not because he told them or I told them. Do you get it? If you get it, please respond. I want you to respond so that I know that, I'm not just talking to myself. You are understanding it and it's making sense to you. Okay. Yeah. So you have to be mindful about the image you give them when you go. When you go, that is not a time for you to start telling them negative things about yourself. If you've done 3 abortions, do you have to tell them? No. If you are not a virgin, do you have to tell them? No. It's none of their business. They don't need to know. Okay, there's a way, and the thing is that you have to be wise. Wisdom, pray for wisdom. It's one of the things that I think that every human being must have. There's a way you can answer questions without necessarily exposing too much. Yeah. So if you have to rehearse the answers you want to give before you go, rehearse them. Don't be negative about yourself. Give a positive impression about yourself. Better than anything else. And that is not a time to go and badmouth your family. If your family have treated you badly before, your in-laws don't need to know that. Okay? Your husband needs to know. The wife needs to know that this is what happened. These are the details of everything. But your in-laws don't need to know. So if your parents have never taken care of you, or they sacked you at some point, you fought with them, or they took your money, they did some bad stuff to you, don't say it. Don't say it. It should not come from you. It should not come from you. Let them hear it from wherever they want to hear it from. You have to be very positive about your family. And if any family member should go behind you and say whatever, your in-laws will have to judge it and know that, okay, if they really like this person, if they really like this guy, why would they come behind them and start gossiping? So already they sell themselves. But when you keep positivity and you are speaking good of them, even though there are things and you are still speaking good, your in-laws cannot go and stand anywhere and say, she said this or he said that. Okay, so be mindful when you go. Be very, very polite. Now, there are some cultures that have specific greetings. I know that the Nigerians will normally will bend, and they've got a nice way to do it. Okay, do it. Don't go and be standing there like, I'm educated. You are wearing your suit and you have your spectacles, and it's like, or you do auto fister. You put yourself into trouble. Don't do it. Go as gentle as you can. And I think the Nigerian men, they lie on the floor. I don't know. I think so. If you have to do it, it's the culture, do it. Yeah. Keep a smiley face. Keep a smiley face. Do not talk too much. Do not talk too much. Yeah. If you are in his house, let him be the one to do the most of the talking. Yeah. And if you are in the lady's house, the lady's family, if you go to see the lady's family, let her be the one doing most of the talking. Only talk when there is a question, when they ask you a question. Don't over talk. There may be a general discussion topic that may come up. It did come up in my place and in his place. If you know the answer, if you have a good knowledge or understanding about the topic, get involved to show that you can have and hold a dialogue. Yeah. When we went to his parents' house, there was a topic on Chinese food. How the Chinese, when they export their food, and sometimes you WhatsApp, people will send these videos about how Chinese people will be using chemicals and they will make rice out of rubber, they will make eggs out of chemicals and all of that. So the mother was very, very passionate about it, and they said, you know, this Chinese food, you have to be careful when you eat them, when you go and buy the food, even rice, you have to be careful. So they were talking about that. And my husband was saying, oh, you know, these shops, some of these UK shops are very, they're very careful about what food they allow into their shop. So we just have to, you know, trust the market and trust God to take care of us, you know. And then I chipped in where necessary and all of that. And I said that I've seen some of the videos around and it can be very scary and, you know. So you get involved. I think when we went to my place, we were talking about, what did they even, there was a topic about pastors and was it pastors and wealth? I've forgotten the topic, but there was a topic and he also took part. Okay. He had already seen my family because of church and all of that. So he was more comfortable. And of course they asked him the question, why do you want to marry her? And he had to give his reasons and some impressive reasons. Yeah. And then, if you don't know anything about the topic that they bring, please don't say anything because you don't want to embarrass yourself. Don't go and say A when it is B, and then it's like, hey, this lady. Yeah. Okay. I think those are the main things when you are visiting the family for the first time. And then after that, you may exchange numbers. Okay. Because most of the time when you've met the family, that's when they probably want to do a follow-on call, and then also you may want to call them. So I believe that the beginning of everything is very important. How you start is very important. I personally believe that you should not start something that you cannot finish. Okay. If you are calling your in-laws every day, it means that you have to stick to that. It means you have to, because if you don't stick to that, immediately you get married and maybe things become very busy and you are not able to call, it will be like, well, now you are married and you don't want to call us. Yeah. So if you know you cannot stick to a particular way that, you know, the frequency of calls, make your decision. Decide from day one how many times is reasonable for you to call your in-laws. Okay. For how many times they want to call you, that's their decision. Okay. But what can you actually keep up to? Personally, because of my schedule, you know, while now there is more work, my husband is there, I have to take off the home, I have to cook, I have to do so many things. Yeah. Apart from the moal and swell, I've got other little things that I do as well. And it will not be possible. Naturally, it will just not be possible for me to be on the phone every day. Even those of you on our WhatsApp group, sometimes, like the past 2 weeks, I've not heard anything from me, literally on the main group, apart from maybe the team groups that I will send an announcement and all of that. And it's because of my schedule at the moment. Okay, so I had to decide reasonably how many times can I effectively call my in-laws in a month. How many times? And I decided, I spoke to him, I said, how many times reasonably do you think I can call your in-law, your parent or your siblings? And he gave me his take. And I matched it with my take and I stick to it. I stick to my decision because I don't want to start what I can't finish. And I've stuck to it the way it was from the relationship up to now. Yeah. If there is occasion, if at any point I feel the prompt to call, which is outside of what I have planned, I will call. yeah, I will call. And they call me as well. There are some of them we don't speak most of the time. There are some of the family members that, the calls they are frequent. I call, they call, and the others I've never called. Others too, maybe once in a while we speak, and it's fine. Okay, I'm not complaining. They are not complaining. My husband is not complaining. We are all fine. So you decide. Do you want to call once a month? Do you want to call once a week? Do you want to call every 6 weeks? Do you want to call every day? It's up to you. If you think it would improve the friendship or the relationship, if you think it will be useful, it's necessary, and you will not be overburdened to feel like, oh, this is a duty I have to carry, then naturally, I'm not a call person. Naturally, I'm not a call person. I've got mothers and aunties that sometimes I don't call them until like 3 months. Or some of them I've not even called them beginning of the year up to now. Yeah, but when I call, we can be on the phone until the battery dies. There's an auntie of mine from church that, anytime I call, hey, peace, today we are going to talk till daybreak. We'll just talk, and we'll cover so many things. But after that, she won't hear from me until how many months? I'm not a call person. I would rather text than to call. And I think the texting thing was developed out of running swell because it's on WhatsApp, and we do a lot of texting. So I'm used to that. But there are some people you can't text them because our Africans sometimes, our African parent or the adult, sometimes they feel like when you text them, it doesn't show respect, so you have to call and that kind of thing. But unfortunately, I'm not the call type, so and my schedule does not allow me to. And I do it to my family, I do it to my friends, everybody. So it's not just, it's not one person. So I had to decide what I can reasonably do without pressure on me. Yeah. So you have to also decide for yourself. Okay. Right. So this is where I'll end episode 3. By the grace of God, next 2 weeks, I'll come back and then I'll touch more on the things we did. Okay, so we visited people, we visited couples, we did a lot of walking, we ate a lot of ice cream. Oh my God, the first time we walked was like, I came back on my legs. Almost 3 hours walking. So yeah, those are some of the little things. We prayed a lot together over the phone. What else did we do? Yeah, we had a monthly topic that we discussed. So next week, next 2 weeks, I will share more light into it, and then you can learn and some of the things that you can adapt to your current courtship. You can take it on board. Those of you who are yet to start a relationship, this is good for you because you are learning in advance. Okay. If you've got any questions that you want me to answer, you can leave a comment and then later on I'll have a look at it. Or somebody sent me a message about, being in a friendship for a number of years. She wants to know, is it okay to start asking the person was the purpose of the relationship and all of that? And I said, yes, go ahead. Okay, so something like that. If you've got a similar thing, you want my opinion, feel free to send it to me in my inbox, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've been blessed and I hope you've learned something. Please share this broadcast on your timeline, and then watch the previous 2 episodes. If you want to follow my husband's vision, it is Purpose Driven Men. He's got a WhatsApp group for those of you who would like to join. It is not too busy. The WhatsApp group is not too busy. It's not like Swell. They normally have discussions like on Saturdays. So it's good for those of you who are very busy, but you still want to learn some things. So they talk about business, sex, how to be a man, and a lot of things. They pray as well on the group. Okay, and then he's got another vision called Make It Happen. So all these visions, there's a Facebook page for them. If you go on my timeline under Peace Adams, I mean, not Peace Adams, Peace Amewo. Peace Adams is gone now, you see. Okay, or you can search him up, Edem Amewo, on Facebook, and then you can follow him, like his videos, like the page, yeah, so that you are benefiting from both of us. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. I'm going to love and leave you now. Have a lovely, 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 lovely week. God bless you.